feeling invisible in social situations. You walk into a room and it's like you don't exist. People talk over you, conversations flow around you, and you wonder if anyone even notices you're there. Here's what most people don't understand about social presence. It's not about being loud, charismatic, or the center of attention. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's most powerful leaders, reveals a completely different approach, one that ancient Stoics practiced in the most challenging social environments imaginable. What if the reason you feel invisible has nothing to do with your personality and everything to do with where you're placing your attention? Let's be honest about what's really happening. You enter a social situation already worried about how you're being perceived. Your mind is racing. What should I say? Do I sound interesting? Are they judging me? This isn't weakness. It's a completely natural response to social uncertainty. But here's what makes it worse. The more you focus on yourself, the more invisible you become. Not because you're boring or awkward, but because your attention is turned inward when presence requires it to be outward. Modern advice tells you to fake confidence or just be yourself. Both terrible suggestions. Faking creates exhausting performance anxiety. Being yourself doesn't work when your anxious self is the problem. The ancient Stoics faced this same challenge. Marcus Aurelius had to command presence in the Roman Senate, surrounded by ambitious politicians trying to outshine each other. Epictetus taught students who felt small in rooms full of wealthy elites. They discovered something crucial. Magnetic presence isn't about you at all. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." But he wasn't talking about positive thinking. He meant something far more practical. Here's the Stoic insight about social presence. People feel invisible because they're obsessed with being seen. Your attention is focused on monitoring yourself, how you look, sound, appear, instead of genuinely connecting with others. The Stoics practiced what they called prosoche, focused attention on what actually matters. In social situations, what matters isn't how impressive you seem, but how present you are with others. Marcus Aurelius had a practice. Before entering any social situation, he would mentally rehearse, focusing entirely on understanding others rather than impressing them. He asked himself, what does this person value? What challenges are they facing? How can I understand their perspective? This shift is radical. Instead of thinking, what should I say to seem interesting? You think, what does this person actually care about? The Roman Stoics called this sympathia, the interconnection of all rational beings. When you genuinely focus on understanding someone, they feel it. Not because you're performing interest, but because real attention is rare and powerful. Let me give you the exact practice Marcus Aurelius used, adapted for modern social situations. Step 1. The pre-entry reset, 30 seconds before entering. Before you walk into any social situation, pause. Take 3 deliberate breaths. Ask yourself one question. What can I learn about the people I'm about to meet? This simple shift moves your focus from performance anxiety to genuine curiosity. You're not preparing to impress, you're preparing to understand. Step 2. The attention anchor. First 5 minutes. When you enter the room, practice what Stoics called catalepsis, clear comprehension. Instead of monitoring how you're being perceived, give someone your complete attention. Here's how. Choose one person. Focus entirely on understanding their words, not planning your response. Notice their energy, tone, what they emphasize. Your only job is comprehension, not performance. Most people are terrible at this. They're so busy planning what to say next that they barely hear what's being said. When you actually listen, deeply listen, people feel it immediately. Step 3. The wisdom question. Ongoing practice. Marcus Aurelius had a technique. In every conversation, he looked for one thing to learn. Not to debate, not to correct, just to understand a perspective he hadn't considered. Ask yourself, what does this person understand that I don't? This question transforms you from someone seeking validation into someone seeking wisdom. And wisdom seekers are magnetic because they make others feel valuable. Now here's what's fascinating about this approach. It works through a psychological principle the Stoics understood intuitively. When you're focused on being seen, you create what modern psychology calls self-referential anxiety. Your brain is monitoring your performance, which creates a feedback loop of increasing self-consciousness. The more you worry about how you appear, the more awkward you feel, which makes you worry more. But when you shift attention to genuinely understanding others, several things happen simultaneously. First, your anxiety decreases because you're no longer monitoring yourself. Your attention is occupied with something external and meaningful. Second, you actually become more present. Real presence isn't performance. It's full attention. When someone has your complete attention, they experience it as respect, interest, value. Third, and this is crucial, you stop trying to be interesting and become interested. Marcus Aurelius understood. Interesting people aren't interesting because they perform. They're interesting because they're genuinely curious about life, people, ideas. The Stoics had another insight. Social anxiety often comes from treating conversations as competitions. You're trying to win approval, prove your worth, demonstrate your value. This creates invisible barriers. When you shift to seeking understanding, you're no longer competing. You're collaborating in the mutual exploration of ideas. This drops barriers immediately. Let's go deeper into the daily practice that builds this capacity over time. Morning mental rehearsal. Marcus Aurelius practiced pre-meditatio, morning preparation. Spend 5 minutes each morning visualizing social situations. But don't visualize yourself being impressive. Visualize yourself being fully present with others, genuinely curious about their perspectives. The evening reflection. Each night, Marcus reviewed his day. For social presence, ask yourself, in today's conversations, when was I most present? When did I slip into self-monitoring? What did I learn about others? This isn't self-judgment. It's honest assessment for growth. The Stoics believed wisdom comes from examining our patterns without shame. The attention training. Throughout your day, practice giving complete attention to ordinary moments. When someone speaks to you, anyone, anywhere, practice full presence. Notice when your mind wanders to self-concern and gently return to understanding them. This builds the mental muscle. Social presence isn't a technique you perform. It's a capacity you develop through consistent practice. The wisdom collection. Keep a simple note. Perspectives I learned today. Write down one insight you gained from someone else's viewpoint. This reinforces the habit of seeking understanding rather than validation. Marcus Aurelius filled 12 books with these observations. You only need one sentence per day. But that practice trains your mind to look for wisdom in every conversation. So here's the truth about magnetic presence. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about shifting where you place your attention. You feel invisible because you're watching yourself instead of connecting with others. The moment you genuinely focus on understanding someone, everything changes. Not because you're performing interest, but because real attention is powerful and rare. Marcus Aurelius commanded the Roman Empire, but his presence came from this simple practice: genuine curiosity about others, complete attention in conversations, seeking wisdom rather than validation. Start with one conversation today. Give someone your complete attention, not to impress them, but to understand them. Notice what happens. Subscribe to Sanctuary of Stoic Wisdom right now if you're done feeling invisible. Hit that like button if you're ready to stop performing and start connecting. And here's the real test. Share this video with one person who's stuck in their own head during conversations. Most people are too afraid to send their friends real wisdom. Are you? The people who follow Sanctuary of Stoic Wisdom don't just watch videos. They practice these principles. They see real transformation in their social confidence, their relationships, their entire presence in the world. Thank you for watching. I genuinely hope this gives you the clarity you've been searching for. In the next video, I'll be revealing how Marcus Aurelius turned self-doubt into unshakable inner authority.